This is literally everything you need for the brand new 6-star. We're going to be talking about the spawns, where are people going to be, and what are some ideal setups. Already, Maze, he's going to be spawning with the good spawns. P1, the spawns are going to be pretty much the exact same. However, when you start pushing up the left-hand side, you're going to get way more squad spawns for red team, and then you'll still have those parallels where one team spawning in the top right, one team spawning in the bottom right. But right now, number 5 spawning in the far back because number 3 is pushed out over here on poolside. Number 2 is going to get that squad spawn with number 4. Number 1 dies. Number 1 is just going to spawn where number 2 was. But number 7 might cause a spawn flip. Okay, just like that. So number 7 pushing out of tank causes a spawn flip. And we actually saw this earlier where whenever you're playing in that P2 area, pushing out a vent or playing in that middle area, you eventually cause a spawn flip. So really good to know right there. And in this setup, one thing I really want to point out is you want to have one anchor in the back, one player on time, and you want your 2 submachine gun players constantly pushed out of middle and in the right lane. That's going to be causing the enemies to spawn at marble the entire time. But regardless, beautiful flip by number 4, causing all of them to spawn marble. Like I said, because number 3 is pushed out of pool, that's spawning the enemies at marble. If number 3 was not there, all those enemies would be spawning bar. But right now, we're going to see number 5 once again spawning marble. Number 1 spawning in the back right there. We're going to potentially see a spawn flip right here. Nope. All 3 players once again spawning marble. And now we have a fatal funnel. This is where I was saying number 1. I want number 1 to push out and start killing all those players middle right there. Good kill. Get another one. And because number 3 is dead, now red team, they're going to spawn at P3. So see right there, now that number 3 is not pushed out of Tiki, now the enemies are spawning at P3 and they are there for the rotation. Number 4, once again, just going to be spawning in the back. Pretty normal spawns, non-stop. And now we have our rotation set up for P3. These P3 spawns are very, very, very simple, where all you need to do is just hold this setup like this. We're going to constantly spawn in the back, and the enemy team's going to constantly spawn at P2. However, if you want to flip spawns, all you have to do is have number 7 push out towards Tiki. If number 7 pushes out towards Tiki, he then blocks the P2 spawns, and that causes the enemies to spawn behind you in the back. But for right now, everything we have is totally fine. However, but look at this. Number 6 pushes out. Look at that. Number 6 pushes out. He's at Tiki, and because of that, he spawn flips the enemies in the back spawns. And now number 8 is back there fighting each other. Number 6 gives up Tiki, opening up that P2 spawn for blue team. But now we have a rotation for the brand new hardpoint P4 on skybridge. Very excited to see this. Mark's going to be here in a 1v1. Unfortunately going down, big 2-piece out of Gaston. And now with these new spawns, where number 3 just spawned, that's the ideal spawn. But you can get a squad spawn where number 1 might spawn close. Usually number 1 could get a squad spawn at circle or at gold, and you can have a lot of closer spawns. But right now, these spawns are going to be really simple. All these enemies are spawning up over there in the top right side of the map. One cool thing about this hardpoint, if you have a player inside of security in that bottom right room office, and you have a player middle, all the blue team are going to still spawn in the deep top right side of the map where you can just spawn trap them nonstop. So we can see it right there where no matter how far you push up, you won't flip them. But now number 6 will be flipping spawns. 3 and 2 might spawn next to each other. Okay, good. So all that happened right there was number 6 pushes out the back. He flips the spawns. Number 2 then spawns marble. And these spawns right here for P4, on the opposing end, on the left-hand side for the spawns on P4, you're going to have one player spawning in marble, and then you're going to have players spawning in the back lobby. But here we are, back onto this P1 just right now. With this P1, we're going to have number 5 soaking up time, waiting for a break, and just like that, blue team, they should start spawning P3. Because red team doesn't have any players at poolside, blue team's going to start spawning on P3. We're going to have a 1v1 between 2 and 5. Unfortunately, that does not go their way. And I don't know if you guys see it, but for whatever reason, red team, they keep spawning in the top right side of the map. So it just looks like those are the brand new primary spawns, but you very well could spawn them just a further away next to gold. Number 6 right now, just trying to hard block the spawns. Number 8, because he's pre-aiming the pool side, he's blocking those bar spawns, causing all of blue team to spawn even further in the back at lobby desk. Number 6, once again, just blocking all those spawns and just causing blue team to spawn in Narnia. But right now, just like that, when number 4 was blocking those spawns, he was spawning number 7 down in the office, which all that goes to prove is these P1 spawns are basically the same. If you want to flip spawns for P2, you have to pinch both sides of the map in order to flip those spawns. Just doing it by yourself is going to be very, very tough, to say the least. All right, but now blue team having good spawns. Red team will be spawning out at marble because number 4 was pushed out of front. But now red team, they're going to be spawning close P2 pool, or at bar side rather. Big 2-piece out of maze. Once again, those players are going to be spawning bar side because we have no one pushed out. But now, just like that, number 1 ends up pushing up middle, getting a nasty 2-piece, and that caused number 7 to spawn out. But now that number 1 is dead, they are no longer blocking that P3 spawn. And now red team spawning at P3. All right, kicking it off. Mazzo pushing up middle right here. Beautiful angles out of red team. And right here with red team in this setup, I would honestly say you want to have literally 2 players middle, 2 players on time. The 2 players middle can keep spawn trapping and cutting the enemies off because the enemies are just going to keep spawning at P2 as we see them currently do that right now. Number 6 is going to push out. And because number 6 pushes out, but because we still have a anchor in the spawn, blue team, they're going to still spawn at P2. Again, if you guys have an anchor for the good spawns, you can have the player push out, get into the enemy's face, and just cause a lot of havoc. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our final gunfights going down to see who comes out on top. Blue team fighting for their lives. Number 8, 5, and 6 going to decide to go for a rotation. 7 and 1 spawn next to each other because number 4 was blocking the office spawns. Or sorry, number 4 was blocking the lobby spawns, and that caused those players to spawn next to each other at P2. But ladies and gentlemen, that was 6-star.